Hey everybody, in this video we'll talk about classifying systems of linear equations from graphs. Before we do this, let's talk about what different solutions look like and what they mean. So I've talked a little bit about this in my graphically solving a system of linear equations video. But we have three different solution types for systems of linear equations. The first is when they intersect once, that's one unique solution. The second, when there's no solution. And when this happens, we say it's inconsistent. Okay? When we have infinitely many solutions, we say it's dependent. Let's talk a little bit more about what each of those mean. So a consistent system is a system of equations with at least one solution. Okay, so look back on the graphs. If it has at least one solution, then it could have one solution, or it could have infinitely many solutions, and it's going to be consistent. An inconsistent system is where there's no solutions. So in that case, that's only where they're going to be parallel, because they're never going to intersect. Independent equations are equations of a system that have different graphs. So they're two different lines. Okay? And dependent equations is when you have a system that has the same graph because there are different forms of the same equation. Let's go ahead and look at the first example. Here we have two different lines, right? And they have one solution. The solution happens to be right here. They have one solution though. So it is a unique solution. And we can find the solution graphically by saying that happens at the point -1 and 3. As far as consistent dependent, consistent independent, and inconsistent. Well, it has a solution, so it has to be consistent, right? And the equations have different graphs. So we have different graphs going on. So we end up with a consistent and independent system here. Okay, let's do one more example. Actually, I believe we have two more examples. So for this problem, we have two equations that end up graphing the same line. So this means we have infinitely many solutions. And it does have a solution, so that means it's consistent. But because they end up being on the same line, it is a consistent dependent system. All right, one more. So here we have two parallel lines, which means we're never going to have a solution. They're never going to intersect, so we have no solution. And because we have no solution, they're not the same line, so we end up having an inconsistent system of equations. And that's how you can classify systems of equations from graphs.